There's this scenario I always find myself in, and I have a feeling that if you're making anything, if you're a creative, a writer, a YouTuber, if you write articles, if you make anything on the internet, you've probably found yourself in this position where maybe you go at a party, you are in the bus stop or in the car, and somebody asks you during a conversation, like, what do you do? And I always find myself in this position where I try to talk about the fact that I'm a writer, but it always comes out in this weird, awkward, ramble, jumble of sentences that don't make any sense. And like, I can't even say in a simple sentence, I'm a writer and I write, or I'm a storyteller, I make stories on the internet, I help people tell stories. I just can't. Eventually, when they find out I'm a writer, right, they find out and then they'll ask me like, hey, do you have a book? Do you have a blog? Do you have a YouTube channel? And even though I do have an audio collection that you can download right now on Bandcamp and actually buy, I always just default to, well, I have this poetry collection that is on my computer for a while. I haven't been able to publish it because of so and so and so. So I basically end up just giving excuses about why I am not what I say I am. So I'm just killing myself in that position. You have right there somebody in front of you who is a potential buyer, a potential supporter of your work, but you don't even tell them that they should support you. This idea of support your own is something that is very personal to me, where I find myself asking, if I can't even have somebody, a potential buyer, buy my work, then what even gives me the credentials to talk about a subject like supporting your own or how to grow an audience in the creative age? Well, two things. First, you're watching this video because I feel like you have a reason to watch a video. And as I talk along the video, you understand why I think your attention means more to me than what you might even realize, and how you can use that to actually grow your own personal audience. Two, I've been writing online since 2012. I tried to publish a poetry collection, as you've heard, is still on my computer. And I've had this long journey since I was 10 years old that has gone between art and science and making and writing onto where I find myself today. So I've had the opportunity to learn from a lot of people, and I continue to learn from them. And that is something that I feel all of us have to. Nobody knows everything. And I think that I stand in a very interesting position where I can see the path to achieving my goals as a creative in the next coming decades. In this video, I want to talk about three things. Essentially, I'm breaking down the idea of support your own and building an audience into three main things. First, the problem. What is the issue that support your own brings up? How does it represent itself in your life? Secondly, the consequences of that problem, how that affects you individually and across the board, whether it's your family, your friends, and the audience as a whole. And then finally, I'm going to end the video, which is the longest part of the video, by proposing solutions in the form of the mindset we need to have to get into growing an audience, especially at a time like this when the internet is almost available to everybody. So if you're ready for this, let's get onto it. Part 1. The problem. Nobody is buying your art. Nobody is subscribing to your channel. Nobody wants to have anything to do with your blog or your YouTube channel. You make videos and you ask them to like and subscribe. They don't care. They don't. You see people, you see the views, or maybe if you're really lucky to get the views, you see the views, but you don't see the likes, you don't see the comments, you don't see anything else. What is going on? Why are you putting this amount of energy and money and time in this thing? Why are they not supporting you? Why can't they, Cameroonians, support other Cameroonians because you're basically just a YouTuber? What is the problem? That is the first part of the issue within supporting your own and bringing an audience. You find yourself in a position where you make all these things, but nobody seems to care. Why do you find yourself arguing with your spouse about being a YouTuber? Why do you find yourself having to struggle between a job and creating a channel and nobody cares about it? Why? That's the first step. The problem is that you make these things, nobody seems to care. And this leads us to part 2, which is the consequences of the problem. You start having self-doubt. You start comparing yourself to other people and thinking, well, if they are winning, what is going on? I guess they're lucky. It's because they're pretty. It's because they collaborated with somebody else on the YouTube channel. It's because they're in America. It's because they have money. So the consequences now is this feeling of you are less than other people. And inferiority complex sets in and your ego grows. It's like, yeah, sometimes you even get to the point where you stop doing the channel or making the product or creating your art because you feel like you now convince yourself that you're better than everybody else, that you should not be doing this. Something that was initially your dream, something that you worked so hard to build, Now you're telling yourself, I don't actually need this. But you do need it. You're just telling yourself that so you don't feel as bad as you do because of the consequences of that. And that's even the small step of the consequences where it's just you. It's just you giving up on your dream, going back to your regular job, not trying to do a side hustle or build your agency. You just give up. And that's a small consequence. The large consequence is you become that parent that forces their kids to become a YouTuber when they just want to become a doctor or a lawyer, right? You're the one now who's telling everybody else what to do in their lives because you tried and you failed. That is a consequence of that problem where nobody seems to care about your product, where you think you've tried and done everything, but nothing is working. And this is the crux of the video. The next part 3, the solution. The solution to the problem, and in order to avoid the negative consequences of having that problem, lie in asking yourself one simple question. Why are you doing this? Why are you starting a YouTube channel? Why do you have a podcast? Why do you have a blog? Why do you make what you make? Yes, I mean the why, like the Simon Sinek why, which is the core that drives your vision. If you already know why you're doing it, the rest of the things I'm about to tell you will just fall in place, and you will realize that all along you've actually known the solution to this problem that you had. When you know your why, you know your value. And in order to grow an audience, in order to know why people support you or they don't support you, you need to know the value that you're providing to these people that you want to buy your product. People don't show up to your platform because they care about you. They show up to your platform because they gain value from you. Value is subjective. When you know why you're doing what you're doing, if you know you're starting a blog to cater to this particular audience, all those things fall in place. Your value becomes the truth through which you seek the people who need your product. You know where they are as an audience. You know whether they're on Facebook, Instagram, whatever. Everything else, the tactics, once you understand the religion, which is the bigger problem that you're trying to solve, which is the idea that drives everything else, those tactics, how to find people, whether you should start a newsletter or not, whether you should even have a podcast or not, once you know your value, everything else falls in place. The most tried and true way to create an audience, to grow an audience, both online and offline, is by creating value. You go to the particular store to get your shirt because you know you're going to get something that you like. Value is so subjective that anything can be value. In the same vein, anything can also be crap. So when I hear the idea of support your own, when I hear the idea of people pushing you have to subscribe to a particular channel because they come from the same country as you, or they're the same, I don't know, whatever it is that is not exactly something that provides value to an individual, I feel this ball, like this thing where it's like, why do you do the whole sub for sub thing? Why do you follow my channel? I would not want you to watch this video if you don't receive any value from me. I think it's pointless. Value is only value to somebody who believes that thing is value. And I've said value so many times in this particular video, and I'm using the same word to describe what it is, but value is subjective. This is the third time again I'm saying it. I need you to think about it. It means whether you have 100 subscribers, or you have 1,000 subscribers, or 1,000,000 subscribers, those people who showed up there came there because you're providing something that they cared about. People who buy your book, or buy your bread, or pay for your service are paying because the money that they pay is actually less than the value that they're getting from the product or the service. So if you know your why, if you understand your value, and you know what people are getting from you, you can easily get up to the party and actually tell them, hey, I'm a writer. Here's what I write. Here's what I do. Here's how I do it. Because you come from a place of understanding what you provide. Value is not about you. It's about the other person. If you do not want to actually provide value, you can make your YouTube channel for yourself. You can start a channel where you basically just collect your thoughts. It's your personal vlog. It's like keeping a diary. You can keep your diary. You can write the things you want to write. But as soon as you put it on the internet, as soon as you want somebody to support you, as soon as you want somebody to pay for it, it's no longer just about you. It's about the other person. I would not watch certain channels because I don't get any value from them. No matter who you are to me, if you make a product that is great, a service that is wonderful, and it doesn't help me in any way, it's pointless. So how do you know what value you bring to people? That is the other part of the solution, because once you've understood that, okay, I need to be providing value, I need to be giving them what they need, I need to be giving them what they want, what actually helps them, whether it's information, education, or entertainment, how do you know? How do you start at 100 subs and like, how do I know what kind of videos to create? Ask the people. It sounds so stupid and so basic, but asking is not just about questions, it's not just about calling people, it's about going and studying the comments. It still goes back to the tactics. Like the whole idea of responding, going to the DMs, retweeting, searching, Google search, finding trending topics, creating ranking videos, all those tactics are about asking, about finding out, getting feedback. And most people who say support your own, The question I have to ask is, are you ready to ask and receive feedback that may bruise your ego? Are you ready to hear that actually your channel sucks because you've not been able to do this kind of thing? Are you ready to listen to the fact that, well, maybe you're not such a good writer, you should think about doing a podcast because you have a prettier voice? Are you in a position to get that feedback and make something that provides value to another person? Because that's one of the key ways that you're going to grow an audience. Almost every single person that I watch, all the people that I read in this book, people like John Lee Dumas, or people like Gary Vaynerchuk himself, people who are building an audience, people who I look up to and I learn from. All these people, a majority of them seem to have stumbled on their success. They didn't get up and want to make money. Making money is a good idea. It's like trying to write your blog for yourself. Like almost every idea is a good idea once you know why you're doing it, which goes back to the beginning of your why and your value and the solution to the problem. A bunch of them stumbled on their success because they were following a very specific vision. They had an idea of what they wanted to do. They had a plan, and then they went through with it and found that, hey, by the way, people are liking these interviews that I'm doing. I could do so and so on. Most of them ended up making money by not exactly trying to make money. Most of them ended up growing an audience by not trying to grow an audience. So the fact that I'm making a video telling you how to grow your audience and titling it how to grow your audience is almost counterintuitive to the idea that if you stop thinking about growing an audience and increasing numbers and focusing on creating value and actually understanding why you're making what you're doing and if you should even do it in the first place. Like I said, it's fine if you want to do a podcast just because you want to do a podcast. It's a very good reason. It's fine if you want to start a blog because you like to write. But if you put this mindset and think that because you started a blog now, people owe you to read your articles and like and share, then you fail to understand why you're doing it. Because if you want them to like and share and grow, you need to give them something that adds value to their lives. And a lot of these people that I watch, there are a couple of properties that I see that they have that I'm trying to emulate myself that I think that you could benefit as well. These people knew their why. They knew what they were doing. They had the self-awareness to actually understand where they were coming from, understand their skills, understand their environment, understand their goals, understand what it would take to get to where they want to get to. 2, they were patient enough to hone their skills, to wait for the technology to be ready for them. They grew their Instagram account from day one with 0 followers. Patience is a big property of people who actually succeed in growing their audiences and getting the kind of support that they deserve. 3, they communicated. And communication there are 2 classes of this kind of communication. They talked with themselves to find out what they wanted. They talked with their audience to get the feedback on the kind of products that they're supposed to make. And most importantly, this is something that most people forget about this whole creative journey. Most importantly, they talk with their family members. They talk with the people who are close to them. Because when you're creating these things, when you're building these companies, or you're trying to build this YouTube channel, you're not alone. You're not in a vacuum. It's true that we always think about the product and the audience, the people who are going to buy, the viewers and everything. But as you make this content, as you create this platform, as you write this blog, the people in your life who are not the readers, who are not the viewers, the people who you depend on for emotional support and other things, these people need to actually know what is going on. If you have a job and you want to quit to start your YouTube channel because you think there's a way for you to win, your spouse, your parents, whoever is going to carry the weight of the bills while you build this audience needs to know. And most of these people, they were either in a position where they were able to do it by themselves because they were alone, or they had day jobs and they worked really hard at night, or they were able to actually get their wives to understand them or their husbands to support them on the journey. Communication is key. And finally, one of the things that are so overrated or actually underrated is work. They worked really hard. I am in a position where I feel like this is the time for me to put in the work for the next 5-10 years and work because I'm still young enough to do it. As you build an audience, you need to understand that it takes work. It takes work to figure out what value you're providing. It takes work to tailor your YouTube channel to look the way it wants to look. It takes work to figure out what your niche is. If you give up, even if you do all these things, if you're patient and you communicate and you persevere and you know what you're doing, but you don't do the work, it's never going to happen. You show up one day, put one video, people really like it, and then you go away. This happened to me a lot. Like when I feel like the stars align, and then now the world is perfect. I have the perfect idea, I have the perfect video, and I make a video, and then the next week I feel like, okay, maybe I'm never going to top that video again. I'm never going to be able to do that kind of article. What do you do then? You do the work. That's what we have to do. Self-awareness. Know who you are, what you're providing, know your why, know the value that you're bringing. Patience. Growing an audience takes time. Building a platform takes time. Making a product takes time. Getting the skills that are required, all the soft skills. Like when you look at YouTube, for example, YouTube is not just being able to talk. It's being able to be in camera. It's being able to remember to look at the lens. It's being able to write descriptions. It's being able to search and do tags. Everything that has value takes time to build. Communication, talking to your audience, having the decency to ask people, what do you guys want? What did you like about this video? What didn't you like about this video? And inside the communication, to put empathy, because you need to know where people are coming from. You don't expect the people in your life to suddenly change their minds and want you to start doing YouTube because you think YouTube is the thing that everybody is doing now. You are accountable to the people you care about, whether it's your mom, your dad, your family, your siblings, your spouse. There are people in your life who care about you, people who would feel the consequence of this action. So even when you give up on your dream and you become this evil, nasty, deprecating person, these people feel it. You're not an island. No one is an island. When you're creating this audience and you're working so hard and you're having sleepless nights, other people feel the pains that you're going through. So you need to have the empathy to actually communicate with both your audience, what you're going through, and your family and your siblings. Something that I feel people don't talk about a lot, about this whole journey as a creative and trying to build an audience, whether it's building a business, online or offline. People in your life who have nothing to do with the YouTube, nothing to do with the business, these people deal with the consequences of your actions. You cannot ignore the importance of actually communicating where you're at, your mindset, your plan, the journey, and the updates on how it's happening. That's why you need to know your why, you need to know your value, you need to be patient to actually know what you're doing. People jump and try to grow an audience because they're seeing other people doing it, but you don't realize what it actually takes to do it. And if you don't have the mindset that is required to get there, there is a very high chance that you will not succeed. I know this because it took me a long time to get to a place where I realized that no matter how smart, no matter how talented, no matter how everybody says, oh, you have potential, you're in America, you have the tools, you have a platform, you have supporting family, no matter how much people say that you're going to succeed, if you don't do the work, you won't succeed. And it also comes to the uncomfortable conversation, something that people don't even mention, like having to talk to your parents and say, like me, when I was quitting medical laboratory science to do GMC, my mom cried. It wasn't a good time. It's one of those periods of my life where when I look back now, I can see where they're coming from. As a parent of an African child, you cannot see your child making such a huge mistake, throwing away their career for an idea that doesn't seem to make sense. It doesn't leave you unfazed. In fact, if it leaves you unfazed, then you have a problem. So when you're going to have to make those difficult conversations around maybe selling your house or selling your car or taking a mortgage, like, or going for Njangi, like in Cameroon, Njangis are where people fund their projects and fund their businesses. If you don't have that conversation with the person who actually would deal with the consequence of your actions, you're likely to fail. Support your own only works when your own, that is the people that you want to support, provide value. And that value comes in different cases. That value could be when a Cameroonian artist collaborates with a legendary musical icon and you're aware of what that means for you living in a generation where you can watch this happen. That is value. That is the kind of support that you can give. That can mean buying a book from somebody who actually has tried and published a book, somebody that you know has been working on this book for years. That could mean talking about a book like this one, a book by my friends actually, with short stories that actually move me to tears. And talking, I'm going to make a review of the book. Like I cannot not make a review of this book. Support your own only works if your own provides value. I don't know how else I'm going to say it. I'm not going to follow a channel simply because you're Cameroonian. I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to give you a sub for sub because you have a YouTube channel. It doesn't make sense to me, and it shouldn't make sense to you. You don't have to follow people you don't like. In fact, this video, you don't have to like it. You don't have to watch the video. If I'm making this video and talking to you about things that you don't care about, you don't have to do it simply because you know me in the real world. It's taken me such a long time to understand this lesson that sometimes we want the people in our lives to support us by liking and sharing our videos, but if it doesn't provide value to them, why should they like and share? It doesn't make sense. So when I'm in a party or I'm with somebody in the bus, in the car, and the person asks me what I'm doing, I know that eventually I'm going to learn how to say I'm a writer or I'm a digital storyteller, and I'm going to feel comfortable and confident about it. I know that they don't have to buy my book. They don't have to buy my audiobook. They don't have to support me on Patreon. It's not, they don't owe it to me. I owe it to them that if I'm asking them to support me, I should be actually giving them a reason. That reason is the value that they get. So if you don't buy my book or you don't support me, it's not because you hate me. On the contrary, it's because I don't provide value to you. So the problem is not you, it's me. So the next time you think and you sit and you look at someone, you're like, why are you not buying my book? Why are you not supporting to my channel? And then you come with this ego. And honestly, sometimes people just forget. Like, I have people in my life, like almost all my patrons right now, I had to reach out to them and remind them and actually ask them to do it. And sometimes they just literally forget, like, hey, I'm sorry, I did not know that this was happening. So there's a thin line between asking people to support you because you know that they're going to get value from it and thinking that they're going to support you because they just know you. So before you get upset that somebody's not supporting you, somebody's not buying your book, somebody's not subscribing to your channel, ask yourself this question. How are you adding value to their lives? How are you supporting them? Thank you so much for watching this video. I really appreciate you taking the time to do it. I feel like it's something that I'm going to expand on in the future a lot more. If you didn't get any value from this video, please don't like, don't subscribe, don't turn on the bell. I honestly believe that if I'm not providing value to you, then you should not be watching any of these videos. But if you did get any value from these videos or any of the other videos on the channel, I really would be glad if you could subscribe and then click the notification bell right here. Actually, it's not right here, but I'm just making sure that it's something there that would make sure that whenever I put up a video, you're going to see it. I would like to know from you, what in this video would you like me to actually delve deeper on? I feel like I really brushed the idea because I was trying to get some ideas across. I prepared a script and actually had the outline of the plan of everything else, but I would like to know, what would you like me to actually take out of this and then expand on? If what I'm making doesn't add value to you, whether it's entertaining, educational, or inspiring, or something that you can use, then I don't feel like you should actually care or give it about anything that I'm doing. So thank you for watching the video. My name is Kamga. I remember I didn't introduce myself in the beginning. I wanted to just get straight to the matter, and if you're here watching this, thank you. So there's a video here where I talked about some really cool things about immigration. I think people really resonate with it. If you're interested in that kind of content, because on the channel I make video like that, it's one of those videos that I really enjoyed. And then there's this other video here, which is a playlist for books that creatives can use to get ideas from. So make sure you enjoy it, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.